Boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, children of all ages, take a victory lap because the fans have won, ladies and gentlemen, children of all ages. This is absolutely insane. There's this incredible article over here from Variety.com. It was rather long and it's kind of lengthy. We've already cut some other videos out of this, but this is the big one because this is what we're going to go over, because this is confirming that Hollywood is indeed understanding that the audiences do indeed matter, that the fans do indeed matter, that we know our lore, that we're not just a bunch of morons out there, and they are freaking out. They have literally redoing the entire way Hollywood industry operates right now because a vocal, they claim, minority of toxic fans out there apparently have influenced the entire rest of the world so bad that we get shows canceled, that we cause everything, we cause all of the reviews to be absolutely horrendous, and we cause all of the ratings to be absolutely bad, that it's all our fault, ladies and gentlemen, and Hollywood absolutely has to rewrite its entire business system out there, all because of us. And this is a beautiful victory lap to take, ladies and gentlemen, because it has indeed worked. Speaking up, being vocal about your favorite fandom out there and defending it with everything you've got, and refusing to show up or pay any kind of money to these absolute insane psychopaths out there who never gave a crap about your lore, whether it be Star Wars, whether it be Lord of the Rings, whether it be Marvel, whether it be any of it. They never gave two craps about it. They only wanted to use it as a vehicle for their own message. And guess what? They're officially finding out that message doesn't sell with not just us toxic fans out there, but the whole world over, and they simply can't handle it, ladies and gentlemen. So we're going to check out this article from Variety.com and take our wonderful little victory lap, breaking down everything that they're saying and all the accusations against all the toxic fans out there, and how why we may just be a vocal minority, apparently we're winning. But before we do, if you do enjoy our content, hit that like button, share with all your friends, and subscribe or follow if you have not already, boys and girls, because we are grinding, we are growing, and I could not do that without every single one of you. Also, leave us a comment in the section down below if you're proud of the fact that you're part of the toxic, small, vocal minority out there that has caused an influence across the entire rest of the globe to bring down billion-dollar industries. Let us know what you think about all of that in the comment section down below. So from Variety.com, toxic fandom, how Hollywood is battling fans who are just out for blood, from social media boot camps to super fan focus groups. Yes, boys and girls, they aren't doing things the old way anymore. So, of course, they talk about Acolyte. They want to blame us for all of that. They want to talk about her diss track. They want to talk about her little 8-minute video after it was all our fault. It was us. The toxic fans just influenced the rest of the world to not show up and watch a Disney Star Wars product. By the way, the lowest rated audience score of any Star Wars project out there, and the worst ratings, the worst viewership of any Disney Star Wars project out there. Yes, it was just us toxic fans, isn't it, boys and girls? Oh, it's horrible. The Acolyte was the latest high-profile target of toxic fandom. The catch-all term for when fan criticism curdles from good faith dissatisfaction into a relentlessly negative, often bigoted online campaign against either the project or its stars or its creative leaders. Oh yes, boys and girls, the toxic fandom. How many times have we seen people get labeled as racist and haters and sexist and all the rest of this kind of stuff online or in our videos, or go, you just don't like it because there's a black woman in it, completely ignoring all of our legitimate criticism. I wonder why that word doesn't mean anything. But apparently it's only gotten worse, ladies and gentlemen, because in a franchise economy increasingly dependent upon established audience devotion to drive the bottom line, yes, hardcore fans are the ones that are going to go out there and run their mouths and talk about this stuff nonstop because we want to create more fans. We want to tell you how good something is, we enjoy it. And guess what? When you make us upset, we're also going to call you out for that too. And we're also going to tell anybody even slightly interested in the show to avoid it at all costs. So yeah, maybe you should pay attention to us, and apparently they are now, because the threat of the threat of toxic fandoms poisoning that enthusiasm has become a seemingly intractable headache for almost every studio, and it's only getting worse. Yes, boys and girls, you hardcore vocal minority out there, you hardcore fans indeed are having an influence. This is interesting. It comes with the territory, but it's gotten incredibly loud in the last couple of years. People are just out for blood regardless. They think the purity of the first version will never be replaced, or you've done something to upset the canon of a beloved franchise, and they're going to take you down for doing so. Well, thank you. Thank you for letting us know that this small vocal minority on the internet controls your entire industry. It's almost like you should listen to your customers. Weird concept, I know. Something that Hollywood hasn't been doing for about a decade, if not more. And of course, they talk about House of the Dragon. They try to blame us for Star Wars The Last Jedi, blaming us for all of that. And of course, all of the nonsense goes on. I don't care about Bridgerton. We already covered the Lord of the Rings stuff because exactly they're just trying to come up with a bunch of excuses to all come down and say that it's not our fault. It's just a bunch of racist, bigots, and sexists and homophobes out there. But by golly gee, George, we have to change our entire industry anyway. Perhaps the greatest irony of this phenomenon is its disproportionate impact these toxic fandoms have relative to their actual number. That's right, we're just a small vocal minority. The vast majority of any fandom are casual fans, says John V. Sidas, VP of Star Trek brand development, who has been with the storied franchise since the 90s. The funny part about this, too, is he's literally working on a franchise that only exists because the studio wanted to cancel it after the first season. Gene Roddenberry reached out to all of his fans out there and asked them to write letters and send it in. That's the only reason Star Trek exists is because of this hardcore fan base. The irony, boys and girls. The number of people who live and die on the franchises is very, very few. And those who come after things that are espoused to love with venom are a really, really tiny subset of that already smaller subset of fandom. It's just much easier to see it now. I don't know that it's really that much broader than things were in the 1995. It's just that the bullhorn wasn't there. Oh, that's right. It's social media's fault. That's why all of our channels should be canceled and removed, and we shouldn't be able to talk about things online. Color us shocked there. Here's where things get interesting. For some, combating the bullhorn amounts to acting as if they can't hear it. Particularly when it's negative, toxic conversations, we don't even engage. Like with toxic people, you try not to give it too much oxygen. One principal concern is that reacting to these kind of attacks risks alienating fans who are unhappy with creative choices about a franchise, but haven't tipped over into abusive behavior. So a studio may attempt to amplify friendlier voices instead. We'll reply to the comments that are positive and elevate those things, says the TV exec. Oh, yes, absolutely. You mean like paying for people to have exclusive background looks and first looks at things and paying for all expensive paid trips? Yeah, the paid fans out there, quote unquote. Yeah, how's that worked out for Rings of Power, boys and girls? Still, toxic fandoms have grown so pernicious that they become a fact of life for many, and so powerful that while talent executives and publicists will privately bemoan the issue, fears of inadvertently triggering another backlash kept several studios from speaking for this story, even on background. As one rep put it, it's just a lose-lose. That's right. Attacking your fans, calling them racist and sexist and bigots and yada, yada, yada. Name your favorite phobe word out there. Yeah, it doesn't sell. What a strange fucking concept. I know. It just boggles the mind that attacking people with legitimate criticisms under the guise of they're just racist and bigots doesn't actually work out for you. Weird. Those who did talk with Variety all agreed that the best defense is to avoid provoking fandoms in the first place. Yeah, don't piss off your audience. Don't piss off your customer. What a strange concept. In addition to standard focus group testing, studios will assemble a specialized cluster of super fans to assess possible marketing materials for a major franchise project. Yes, boys and girls, they recognize that the hardcore fans indeed are the only ones that will give you a fair assessment, because guess what? If the hardcore fans don't like it, how do you expect a general audience? They're very vocal, says the studio exec. They will just tell us. If you do that, fans are going to retaliate. I know, strange concept when you actually consult people that know the lore and the property. Strange concept. These groups have even led studios to alter the projects. If it's in early enough, the movie isn't finished yet, we can make those kind of changes. Yes, you're having an influence, you're having an effect, and they are listening. Be proud of yourselves, boys and girls, because you do indeed matter. Several studio insiders say they often put their talent through a social media boot camp. In some cases, when a character is intentionally challenging a franchise's status quo, studio, with the actor's permission, will take over their social media accounts entirely. Yeah, if you hire kind of like a woke activist who can't keep their mouths shut in a way that you're intentionally trying to change your franchise and intentionally trying to piss off the audience, they will literally not allow you to use your own social media anymore. And color us shocked there. And the social media boot camps, boy, I wonder what Rachel Ziegler's went through, because her tone sure is awfully changed around Snow White as of late, hasn't it, boys and girls? Yes. Making your voices heard does make a difference. You have brought down a multi-billion-dollar industry in Hollywood. You have brought them to their knees, while now they have to change their entire way of doing business and doing the smart thing now that they should have all along: run things by a focus group of actual fans, not just other suckers for the spirit of the age out there. And then, of course, they talk about Obi-Wan Kenobi and everything that went on with Moses Ingram. And I mean, literally, the receipts that they offered for that were like next to nothing. I mean, go check out Eric July's inbox sometimes if you really want to talk about some seriously racist threats out there. But needless to say, they ran cover fire and it didn't work. It blew up in their faces. Nobody watched Obi-Wan Kenobi. The Reva lightsaber failed to fund, and it just turned into another disastrous dumpster fire. And of course, they talk about the Rings of Power and what they did to try to combat that, because, oh, yes, we're just a bunch of racists. Doesn't have anything to do with the fact that you're completely and totally violating Tolkien's lore and making a hodgepodge of a crappy fantasy show that doesn't make any sense whatsoever even to a normie, which is why you consistently lose half of your audience every single season, and you will continue to lose half of that audience going forward until this abysmal show is finally done the smart thing and get canceled. And this is absolutely hilarious. It's so freaking funny that they have to admit about this. This is great, because this is one of the other things that they say. There's the other way to handle toxic fans on the internet. Stay off it. I'm not online, so I'm protected, says frequent Marvel star Elizabeth Olsen, which, honestly, why would anybody go after her? The movies were just bad, and we know why now. Generally, it's a lot of positive experience making kids happy. I ignore the rest of the stuff. And yes, as she should. As she should. But this is it, boys and girls. This is it. We've won. The fans have won. Now, that doesn't mean that we should ever shut up or sit down ever again. No. Shutting up and sitting down is what got us put in this situation. Not talking about religion and politics and polite company is what got us in this situation. Be a vocal fan. Protect your fandom with everything you've got. If you love something, hold it dear to your heart and do not give them any quarter. Do not give them an inch, because we have seen what they've done time and time again. The only thing Hollywood ever had any interest in using any of our fandoms for, whether it be Star Wars, whether it be Rings of Power, whether it be any of this kind of stuff, Marvel, DC, any of it. The old Hollywood guard only wanted to use it for their agenda. And now that is absolutely blown up in their faces. They have failed miserably. We have cost them billions of dollars lost, and they will continue to lose if they continue to go in this direction. But it turns out, boys and girls, it turns out, ladies and gentlemen, it turns out, bigots, we have won. We have won. Because now they're doing the smart thing. They're actually finding people who know the lore, and they're running things by them first. Now, is this me saying that Star Wars and Marvel and everything else are going to be great and fancy and hunky-dory again? No. Star Wars is probably a dead brand forever until they actually erase the Disney sequel trilogy. Marvel, we've seen things coming good. We've heard of the changes that have happened behind the scenes. We know that we are winning, because now Hollywood can call us racist and ists and phobes and all of the rest of that kind of non-stuff all day long. But at the end of the day, they were never the majority. They were never the new hot thing. They were always the baddies. And guess what? The vocal minority that they claimed we were, well, it turns out we're actually the majority, and they are finding that out in real time as they continue to lose billions of dollars on franchises. As more things go bankrupt, as more things get consolidated, they will continue to go down this path until what it looks like they're now doing the smart thing and actually asking the fans what they want. Because at the end of the day, if you make the fans happy, we will make you rich. Deadpool and Wolverine, anyone? But you piss us off, and we will ignore you. We will make our voices heard, and we will make everyone else know that what you are doing to our franchises is a disastrous dumpster fire. And guess what? Yes, we will get your shows canceled. How'd that work out for you, Acolyte? After all, go woke, go broke.